Good morning, everyone. Really is mixed picture out there. Especially look at as we gapping up, gapping down, some pretty nasty gaps to the downside and some pretty positive ones to the upside. And waiting for this market to I guess maybe economic news tomorrow is what it's waiting for. GDP. Um, That'll be a mover. So, right now it's just kind of still running in place, even with the little bit of a move down here in the NASDAQ futures. It's just an inside bar. Um, but, time is running out. And those numbers, well, we'll see what those numbers are, economic numbers. And I'm thinking, how, you know, unexpected, could they be that could shock things or be so great? I don't think they could be so great, but the more time this spends down here doing nothing, and tech had been leading, the greater the possibility, the probability that it's going to drop, down to the 200 or maybe more. Well, we'll see. Got that wide range bar on the weekly chart from last week. Nothing's changed as far as the bearish implications of that. As we always look at a wide bar like that, as long as it stays in the lower half, the closing price stays in the lower half, we look at it as going to continue to move down until something changes. And today's just starting off kind of neutrals. Microsoft's up a bunch, Google's down a bunch, Texas Instruments down a bunch. So, it's tugging on in either direction and basically going nowhere, so down a little bit. So it may just be another day of running in place, choppy price action like we've been seeing. As far as the markets go, stay out of the way. And we'll see what kind of credit spreads are available and do the factory work. Let's just take a peek at the Qs. They were up a little bit before, and now they're moving back down again, gapping down almost to the bottom of that green bar. So we'll see what today brings. There's no kind of action here other than very short term. Prices couldn't get through these highs. I said if they can get through here, maybe go up into that void a little bit, maybe reach the 20 MA. That's not happening. You can see it's actually gapping down, and probably going to stay, I'm guessing, in between those pivots on the hourly, and probably won't break the low, that little poke down low there. Let's look at SPY. I was sitting on that support, and that moving back down, gapping inside the bar. More indecision. You can see my cursor on the hourly chart, just in the middle between those pivot highs and pivot lows. No change of any significance there. These lows are going to be significant, of course. And let's just go to SPX there. Things moved a little bit from where they were before. So the closeness of the call strike suggests don't do that one, even though it's gapping down. It's so close, typically close than what it normally is. And this is so far away, which would suggest there's a bearish undertone to, the options activity. But to get down there today, news is already out. Just see, I have to make sure there's nothing coming out at 10 o'clock. So at 10 o'clock, there's new home sales month over month, oil stock, 1030, crude oil stocks. I don't know how much that could be a mover. Previous consensus, they're expecting new home sales to go up a little bit. Well, consensus 0.68, forecast 0.65. Big difference there. So I'm not so sure how much that'll move things. Just looking at, and so my preference is the downside strike, even though at some point I think things will go lower, but it ain't going to happen today. So Dow is up here a little bit on Microsoft, but the futures are just an inside day, just more running in place, doing absolutely nothing. The Russell gapping down a little bit. I mean, this is extended lower. You would think it could rally up a little bit, so there's no enthusiasm there for, what would be considered extended, or some might say oversold. I mean, it's been going down, for a long time. As we look at the ETF, it just look like it just needs to get down to that October low, I would assume. And let's see where it's not too far off. I think, let's get it over with. From yesterday, mark that off. Where it's at right now. Yeah, little, not quite that 17%, but it's getting there. Well, I guess Thursday, Powell speaking will be after the news in the morning, and there's a bunch of news in the morning. GDP growth, durable good orders, initial jobless claims, retail inventories. So tomorrow morning is going to be a big one. There's a lot of numbers coming out, and then what time is he speaking? Waller is speaking at 9:00 in the morning. And Friday is a bunch of numbers too. I don't see him listed. I don't see him listed as speaking on Thursday. I'm missing it. Anyway, Thursday and Friday are going to be big days for economic reports. Bitcoin's been the star, obviously. It's extended now. Cleared the top of that range. Maybe this coming into that gap area, maybe that slows it down. No, I didn't think so. I didn't see him listed there. So, but this Waller is going to be speaking at 9:00. I don't know how much of an effect that'll have. I mean, after all those numbers come out, Bitcoin pushing up a little bit here. Interest rates are up a bit. Nothing of significance, but at the bottom of this red bar, but this isn't a strong uptrend. Not the same as those weekly charts that are moving down with a void below. But it would be interesting to see if this actually can be a red bar ignored. And if this starts to move up or continues to move up, I suspect that will be one thing that can get equities moving down. And the dollar is showing strength again. It's been going sideways, but that's gapping up to the top of a red bar. So, I mean, relatively speaking, the markets are holding up here, considering that interest rates and the dollar are inching up, but they're kind of in their own little ranges. And what else? Gold's up a little bit. That had a hell of a run. We expect that to stop now. It's at those pivot highs. We haven't looked at gasoline this week. That came down tremendously. Well, there's a little bit of a plus there. Price of gas coming down. Crude oil We're just whipping back and forth here. Maybe waiting for some other shoe to drop over there in the Middle East. They keep talking about they're going to go in there and whatever they're going to do. They're still on hold, hoping to get those hostages out of there. But, crazy times. Yeah, so mixed picture this morning. We'll see where this thing goes. Right now, there's really nothing decisively pushing as far as the broader markets go, but I was looking at, Google, you see that is gapping down a significant amount, and tech is getting beat up. Look at Texas Instruments gapping down a significant amount, and Microsoft gapping up a significant amount. But it isn't going to go all by itself. Just wondering what Meta's doing, and nothing. And Apple 172, inside bar here. So, have an expression: "Don't be the frog in the blender." And I guess until we can get into this economic news, maybe the market's just going to be directionless again. So, all yours, Dan. Kind of boring, but better than getting chopped up.
Right.
You want me to look at the spider chart, this SPY again? You know what? I didn't mention it, but look, whether it's SPY or SPX, this level down here, this 420 level, if it moves down under that 420 level, or SPX, breaks down through that 4,200, I think, as far as that's the line in the sand, as far as the downside today, as prices are gapping down a little bit, but if they can get back above yesterday's high, well, that opened up the door to some kind of upside. Until, one or the other happens, it's just going to be chopping around here.
All right, I was just updating a couple of earnings trades here. This was one of them we did in Condor. It's working out. I just set a low alarm on our OIH call spread. I just lowered the stop. That looks great. Second here. All right, let's go right to earnings. And actually, I wrote down everything you just did there. Well, we'll do yours first. You usually have some good swing setups. You had L. Yeah, balance with the weak market, though. I'm not really favoring longs right here until we get a stabilization or turn, but you can put it on the watch list. There's a potential double bottom, but you got a bearish weekly, so I wouldn't expect a big bounce. AEO looks better because you got rising 20, 50, 200. Lulu I like. I'll set an alarm at 405. That one as a new trade looks fantastic. We actually had a put spread on that the other day, and I took our money on Monday. But yeah, this one looks fantastic. I set it, 405 to start. That gap up was not earnings. It was being added to the S&P 500. NWS, yeah, that's a buy setup. Like, do you all see the monster difference of a buy setup like this in an uptrend versus, um, like this L, not L, GII, or I mean, this is more of a retest pattern than a buy setup. We define buy setups in uptrends. And today, MT Live, we're talking about the 7 stock market events and transition phases. So that will be another good one. I'm going to set an alarm here at 22:35. Okay, so let's go to earnings now. I did a bunch of them myself, and I also gave a couple of them to both letters. All right, Google here, ugly gap. We'll see how it stabilizes. Snap, we did what's called a short strangle. We shorted the $12 calls, $8 puts, gapping up a little bit, which is good because we were tighter to our put than the call. So I'll be looking to close that. I'm at a nice profit at the open. Microsoft, we said yesterday this is a big inverse head and shoulders if it were to break out. And I was looking to sell the puts, but not enough juice for me. That's a buy on a pullback. That's very, very bullish. Visa, I personally did not get filled on this. I tried, but I left it open on the sheet just in case anybody, took a penny less or something like that. But we have the 222s, so we're still $7 away. I'll be looking to close that. TDoc, bearish daily, weekly, monthly. I got no interest in that. Texan is against us. This climb on the weekly, we sold the 140 puts, but I'm going to keep an eye on this as a new trade or an ad. 30-minute high. This is a short-term exhaustion gap. CSGP, it's no big volume. We'll come back. HIW. I see one print at 19. It's a gap and a downtrend. No interest. CHX. I can't see a gap. We'll come back to you. But if it goes over yesterday's high, it's a put spread. What's today? Wednesday. Under Monday's low, it's a bear 1, 2, 3, 4 short on the weekly. So that can go either way. I don't see any prints. Charlie Bravo, Alex and I both did naked puts. I don't see any volume here, Alex, so we'll keep an eye on that. This was a buy setup, but with a weak close, it's opening flat. If this can take out yesterday's high, then it will be a red bar ignored, buy setup continuation. I'm going to set an alarm at 35. Hawaiian Airlines, I said, just looks horrible, all time frames. I mean, maybe you get a short-term relief, but that's an ugly pattern that I don't want to fade. Whiskey Mike, I don't see any gaps, but I'm going to delete you. It's a mess. RHI, I was considering selling the $65 puts. Reminder shows it up a little bit, but I don't see any prints. CNI opening relatively flat. It looks like a continuation short. I'm going to set an alarm at 105.15. I heard on CNBC that there's a ton of transports reporting this week. Like, I forget what he said, but a ton. I'll leave it at that. Matador, no pattern. BDN, hey Doug. Gapping up a little bit. a possible retest, but it's sloppy and I don't like the weekly. ROIC, no pattern. But back to the market, it's doing exactly what we wanted, which is a 1 to 3 day bounce, not very deep. And then we got a bearish weekly and we're looking for a continuation pattern lower. So even though it's been a little on the boring side, we're still finding a ton of great setups. Number one, and number two, it's doing what we want. Doing what we want. All right, this thing I see one print at 55. I actually sold 55 put spread myself, so that is going against me. Oh, Weatherford, this will be a great buy setup. Red bar ignored if it triggers. Oh man, I was going to set an alarm at 93.50, but I see here it's already showing up 90 at 96. Let me look at a level 1. But that, I love buy setups like that. You got 3 bottoming tails at the 50. All right, see, I don't know if this is gapping because it's the level 1 is 92 by 96. So let's watch. Weatherford looks great. I got Snap and TMUS on the other computer. So let's put that there. Raul in YouTube. Asking about pod short. Yeah. Cooked weekly, but yeah, it's a sell setup at the 20 week market, so sure. Stop Monday's high. ABC is a potential retest pattern. I'm going to set an alarm at 54.82. You got a climb on the weekly. Man, H gapping down. Yeah, this was one we didn't like the weekly. That is a weekly M top with a new high plus. So that's bearish, but extended on the daily. Vice, wow, Vicer gapping down $13. That's that percentage wise, it's getting its head cut off. FFIV will come back to you. FCF, no pattern. Looks lower. All time frames. Wire opening relatively flat. We'll come back to you. This looks lower. All time frames. It shows it gapping up 7 cents. 30-minute low. That looks like a short. Tomo down $20, 438. This possible short-term exhaustion gap. Down a lot from 560. I'm going to put that in a window. Tomo. But as of right now, pre-market, it looks horrible. TMUS, we talked about. We have a condor. So I'm just bidding a nickel to get out. I put bids in pre-market. If I get filled, it's wonderful. If I don't, then I'll come back within the first couple of minutes and see where the midpoint is. Boeing 187, gap in a downtrend, nothing to do yet. ADP 235, no pattern. CME down $5. So this is a failed buy setup, and this is exactly the problem with buy setups like this that have such a big momentum move. That if this turn fails, it has a long way to drop. And then also you got a bear 180 on the weekly. Gulf Delta, this is one I said I liked over yesterday's high. It is gapping over there. Let's see how it sets up in the first 30 minutes. SAN is a foreign company. You're going. MCO opening Up a few pennies, downtrend, no interest. Rock, maybe 30-minute high put spread, Hess is being bought out, no interest. APH down a little bit, downtrend, no interest. NSC, so here's one railroad, 191. We'll come back to it. Odaffel. This thing had crazy juice. What strike did I do? I shorted the 310 puts. You remember this, Greg? Look at the 310s down here. I did a 310 280, I think, for 55 cents, if my memory's right, but I'm bidding nickel to get out. I don't know, Alex. I wouldn't read much into it because it could be arbitraging positions or whatever, because yeah, someone's buying it. That's what I was going to say. My old firm, we had a couple guys who specialized in buyouts, and you know, they would buy one, short the other, and you know, they had their secret sauce of whatever they did. We'll come back to you. Hilton. Greg, remember this one I did? The crazy wide condor. So this, if it look, it's open. If I can rely on this opening up 25 cents, you cannot expect a better opening on a short condor that's so wide, because you want, you know, you're going to make the volatility contraction, and Texans are ripping here pre-market. Remember I said it's what's going to be a new trade for me. Look at it ripping here pre-market. Wow. Raul, I'm Dutch, by the way. Oh, awesome. Yeah, we have, Greg, how many countries we have traders in? I think you've counted one day, it's like 44 countries we have clients in. So Raul is Dutch, the Netherlands, I guess. Otis, my man, gapping down, downtrend, no interest. FTV 65, that's a big gap on that. Let's keep an eye on that. 30-minute high put spread. TDY, I don't see any pattern. We'll come back. Up $3, 104, gap in a downtrend, no interest. And that is all the earnings. So I got through all those. Cough, I don't see a gap, no interest. BRT. Hey, this Algen, did we jump the gun on this? When is earnings on this? I thought it was pre-market, Sam IM told me. But I don't see any gap, and I didn't see it there. Sam, man, you do that to me a lot. I don't like doing them the day before. All right, so I was wondering, I got Algen here, and I'm like, why are you not moving? So these are a couple I'm in. I just put them here so I could see them easy. All right, shoot, I wouldn't have done it early. The FANGs, I see our Netflix is showing relative strength here pre-market. All right, Greg, your Kava up alarm is triggering here. Sky looks like it's gapping down. That was a 1, 2, 3 short. And I don't see much volume here. Let's see what happens. All right, I don't have any bells going off, so that means they're probably wide options, or I'm trying to bid too low. But I'll go through them one by one, of course. All right, Netflix is stopping out. Or actually, give Netflix 5-minute high. We got the 440s. And we've got a nice open profit. All right, TMOS here, bottom right. God, this is again another perfect one. It must be. This makes no sense. It's 29 cents. We have the 147s, which are far, and the 134s, which are far. This should not be. You know, I got a 4 lot, so I'm going to do a little kind of price discovery. I'm going to bid 20 cents on a 1 lot because I think we got wide spreads here. Yeah, we got wide spreads. It's a problem. Yeah, I mean, that's just a fact of life. Look at the Weatherford I mentioned right there, middle. That's a nice setup. I'm not chasing it with the market tanking here. IYT, low alarm. We have a call spread on this. Wow, my Texan, I have an open game now. All right, so I took my money on mine. I had a lower strike, but I thought that was going to be a headache. Now it's a gain. All right, snap. Where's the midpoint here is 6 cents. Let me try 5. No fill. So that means he might want, yeah, let's just pay 6 and get out. I mean, it looks totally fine, but it's judgment call just to be done with it. All right, I'm out at 6. All right, so done with that one. IYT looks great. All right, Texan, we can close. Let's close this at a gain. I thought this was going to be a problem child. Close. Just, you know, it's a problem child. Just take the money, Texan. We sold them for $1. Got an amazing bounce. Be done with it. Snap out at 6 cents. Yeah, last night Snap had an amazing strong bounce. Got me, it tightened my sphincter.